From Lori's fight over Scully that had sharks storming off the set, to being named by Forbes as least likely to close a deal, here are times Lori Greiner has taken it too far. Starting with when she didn't even let the other sharks speak. Oh man, when he entered the tank, Christopher Gray probably had no idea what was about to happen. Because of him. You see, Sholly was a paid app created to help prospective college students in discovering scholarships they might not have heard about. Together with Damon, Lori made an offer and successfully closed the deal with Gray. But as soon as the man who invented the app stepped away from the tank, a huge outburst broke out between the entire shark panel. To find out why, let's rewind a bit. This smartphone app was created by Gray and featured on Shark Tank episode 617, and the idea came to him after receiving several scholarships totaling more than $1 million. According to the founder, nearly 1/4 of all people use their mobile phones to access the internet, so creating an app that can find you scholarships made sense. He demanded $40,000 in exchange for a 15% ownership stake in his company. But before he could go into detail about the company, or the other sharks could ask him more questions, Lori jumps in and offers him exactly what he's looking for. You could see all the sharks were taken back, even though they were interested in the pitch. Damon offers to join Lori and gives $20,000 of his own funds to support the venture. And at this point, Mark loses his cool. The argument began because Damon John and Lori Greiner made offers so early in the presentation that the other sharks were unable to ask questions or go over the actual proposal. In a pre-show statement, Lori admitted that she made her offer 10 minutes into the pitch, which can usually last anywhere between 45 and an hour for each. Rob proceeded to grill Lori about how she could believe in something she hasn't gone over, and how, when he was poor, he hated when people pitied him and just gave him money like that. Lori's point was that the idea was worth investing in, no matter what the details were. But hey, this is Shark Tank. The decision to accept what Mark, Kevin, and Robert called to be a charity arrangement left them feeling incredibly disappointed in their Shark Tank co-stars. The three then did something rare on the show by storming off the set to get away from Lori and Damon. Given how heated things were getting between the sharks, getting up and leaving felt like the best course of action, if you ask me. The notorious exit of Mark, Kevin, and Robert sure helped preserve some friendships that day, because Lori revealed on Instagram that the sharks are all close friends in real life. Yes, still. Oh, and just because Lori and Draymond joined forces on this idea doesn't mean they haven't butted heads. Ironically, it was over a pillowcase company. Well, sorta. But who thought wearing a pillowcase dress could make two sharks tense up? Isn't that defeating the whole purpose? When pitching Cozy Bug to the panel, entrepreneur Allie Lesser had no idea what was in store. But one thing's for sure, she seriously strained relations between friends Lori and Damon. The business appeared like the ideal fit for any of the sharks, so they both wanted to join. Damon was pursued by the ever-pleasant and respectful Lori, who isn't so pleasant when you get in her way. She removed her gloves big time, and claimed to have passed lemonade stands that sold more merchandise than the inventor of FUBU. Ouch! Well, the scathing diss was a sign of how much she wanted in on Cozy Bug, because Lori rarely goes that hard on one of her co-stars, especially with such a biting jab. But guess what? Damon put up a far stronger fight for the company than Lori did. And because of his reputable reputation in the clothing industry, he believed the deal was his. He wasn't wrong. Allie chose Damon as her investor, clearly upsetting the queen of QVC. Yikes, I wouldn't want to do that. Now, it's not just the sharks who fight amongst themselves. Sometimes things don't end up well between founders and investors, which was the case with Lori and Shelley Ayler of Show No Towels. Ayler and Lori Greiner's relationship was doomed from the get-go. Turns out, Greiner allegedly advised Shelley not to cash the money the following day and later attempted to change the agreement's clauses. Tell me that's not shady? Yep. Greiner changed the terms of the contract to include a loan that could only be used for the sale, and not for other expenses. This was after Shelley Ayler rejected her demand for 70% of the company instead of 25%. If I were in her shoes, I'd take my towel business and run. In Shelley's own words, she cursed Lori for trying to take advantage of her, but then thanked her for teaching her way more than she anticipated. even if it was nothing about business and everything about ethics. Whew! Strong choice of words. Plus, the business also had a lot riding on a deal with Disney, but after the product's online sales fell short of Disney's estimates, the profit margin fell short as well. After months of attempts to move the deal along, it failed, along with another potential deal with a manufacturer, all because of Lori's apparent greed. Eventually, too many failed business deals and too many disagreements between the founder and the Shark Tank investor led to the company's complete dissolution. It ended up being one more outstanding instance of a Shark Tank flop, even though Show No Towels had a lot of potential. By the way, even though that biz went out, Shelley is back in action. After relaunching the website, she's now primarily marketing the towels to people with disabilities, which, dare I mention, is a market that Lori Greiner didn't consider to be large enough to pursue. See, sometimes falling out with an investor like Lori can be the best thing for your business. Anywho, this reminded me of another founder who accidentally unleashed Lori's wrath. Remember EC-Pack? Oh boy, that day he was swimming with the sharks, that's for sure. Dr. Sarath Malapati came to pitch his wellness supplement Easy C-Pack on Shark Tank. But the situation quickly changed when Mark Cuban disagreed with him, when the doctor claimed that there was a consumer-driven public health problem. Sounds like another day on the show, right? Questions are asked, disagreements are made. But once Lori Greiner got involved, things only got worse. Lori really agreed with Sarath and was on his side with the whole idea. But as soon as she sensed that he wasn't giving her his whole attention, the situation became uncomfortable. Talk about wanting to hoard attention. Sensing this, the other men tried to calm things down, but their conversation soon overpowered Lori and just made her angrier. The investor went on about how much she's into health and nutrition and wasn't holding off from creating a scene. She told the doctor that she feels disrespected as a female sitting here because he wasn't looking at her when she was speaking and seemed to be reeling from what Mark had said. Sarath quickly apologized and assured her that he respects her and adores her positive attitude. But nah, she wasn't having it. The shark, who looked ready to bite, slammed him with, "I'm all of those things, but I am also a businesswoman. You weren't actually looking at me when you came out here." Poor guy got labeled a chauvinist for that. Although the other sharks didn't seem to agree with Lori, his attitude caused a stir among them all, and the pitch got super awkward after that outburst. He received a deal only from Kevin O'Leary, but we all learned a valuable lesson about giving Lori importance. Speaking of lessons, if Lori gives you an offer, you might want to think about it, because according to Forbes, she's the least likely to seal the deal. An offer from one of the show's celebrity investors can feel like the prize at the end of a long road, but the truth is far from that. A handshake agreement in the tank can be readily violated after the cameras stop rolling, and this is especially true if the handshake was with Lori Greiner. She's had the lowest closing percentage among her on-show peers, closing just 29% of her sales. Her defense? Some founders are only looking for free publicity, others come with exaggerated financial claims, but then you'd expect the same numbers from the other sharks too, right? In fact, Forbes was informed by sources that she'd abruptly withdraw from deals, sometimes without giving a reason. Apparently, producers even forced competitors to accept deals as a condition of the show, despite the entrepreneur's reluctance to accept the offer. I don't know what's worse, that or Lori's closing rates. So from being named by Forbes as least likely to close a deal, to Lori's fight over Shawley that had sharks storming off the set, these were times Lori Greiner took it too far.